On a warm afternoon in early summer, the village market was bustling with its usual sights and sounds. Vendors calling out, bicycles rattling down the road, children chasing each other barefoot in the dust. Among the noise and movement, Mai walked slowly, her eyes scanning every corner with a quiet determination. She wasn't there for vegetables or clothes like the other villagers. She had something else in mind. Down a narrow lane, tucked away behind stacks of old parts and forgotten machines, stood a small second-hand motorbike shop. The place smelled of grease and rust, with rows of tired motorcycles lined up like weary soldiers from another era. Some had broken headlights, others had flat tires or cracked fuel tanks, each one carrying the weight of years gone by. Mai's heart pounded as she stepped closer. For weeks, she had been saving up every bit of money from tutoring, farm work, and even weaving baskets at night. Today was the day she would finally spend it. Not on something new or shiny, but on something everyone else overlooked, an old machine she hoped to bring back to life. And then she saw it. Hidden in the back, half covered by a dusty tarp, was a Suzuki GN125 from the 1990s. Its paint was chipped, its seat torn, its engine silent. To most people, it was nothing more than a relic of the past, destined to rust away in obscurity. But to Mai, it was perfect. In that broken frame, she saw possibility. In those faded wheels, she imagined freedom. As she ran her fingers gently across the cold metal, she whispered to herself, "This is the one." The shopkeeper chuckled, shaking his head. "Are you sure you want that one, girl? It hasn't run in years. You'd be better off with something newer." But Mai only smiled. She knew what she wanted. She bargained, counted out her hard-earned money with trembling hands. And after signing the papers, the GN125 was hers. That afternoon, under the golden glow of the setting sun, Mai pushed the heavy, silent bike back home along the dusty road. Villagers glanced curiously. Some even laughed. "A pile of junk," one man muttered. "She wasted her money," another said. But Mai didn't care. With each step, her determination grew stronger. She wasn't just bringing home an old bike. She was bringing home a dream. The girl and her journey to restore a Suzuki GN125 from the 90s. In a quiet countryside village where dusty red roads stretch endlessly between lush green rice fields, and where every dawn awakens with the crow of roosters and the cheerful chirping of birds, life unfolds in simple but hard-working rhythm. It is here that we meet Mai, a young woman with calloused hands, a determined spirit, and a dream that seemed far too big for her modest world. Mai grew up in a poor farming family. Her parents spent their entire lives bent over in the fields, and every grain of rice was earned with sweat and sacrifice. She knew hardship from an early age, walking miles to school on foot, working part-time jobs after class just to help her parents buy food and books. And yet, despite the rough clothes, the dirt-stained shoes, and the long, exhausting days, her eyes always shone with a light of hope. For years, Mai carried a simple dream. Not fancy clothes, not glittering jewelry, just a motorbike. A small, old, used one would be enough. To her, it wasn't just a machine, it was freedom. With it, she could go to school faster, take jobs farther away, and one day travel beyond the borders of her small village. One afternoon, while browsing through a dusty second-hand garage by the roadside, Mai's eyes landed on an old, rusted Suzuki GN125 from the 1990s. Its paint was peeling, its chrome dulled, and the engine seemed like it hadn't breathed life in decades. Most people would have dismissed it as a pile of scrap metal. But for Mai, it was love at first sight. She didn't see rust. She saw possibility. She didn't see a broken bike. She saw a companion waiting to be reborn. After days of saving every coin from her part-time jobs, Mai finally bought the old GN125. Her parents thought she was wasting money. Neighbors shook their heads in disbelief. But Mai simply smiled. She believed in it. And more importantly, she believed in herself. The restoration began in the dim corner of her family's small shed. Every evening after work, Mai would roll up her sleeves and get to work. She scrubbed away the rust with her bare hands, polished the chrome until it gleamed, and carefully studied every bolt, every gear. She borrowed manuals, watched hours of tutorials on an old phone, and even visited local mechanics to learn. The process wasn't easy. There were nights when the stubborn engine refused to start, days when her hands were blistered from turning wrenches, and moments when she wondered if she had taken on something far too big. But each setback only strengthened her resolve. Bit by bit, screw by screw, the GN125 began to come back to life. She repainted the frame, replaced the worn-out tires, restored the fuel tank, and carefully rebuilt the carburetor. Slowly, the faded, forgotten machine transformed into something beautiful. The once rusted skeleton now gleamed with fresh paint and polished chrome. The Suzuki GN125, once left for dead, stood tall and proud once more. The most emotional moment came on the day she turned the key and kicked the starter. At first, there was silence. Then, after a few shaky tries, the engine roared to life. The deep, throaty sound of the GN125 filled the shed, echoing like music to Mai's ears. She laughed, she cried, she couldn't stop smiling. In that moment, it wasn't just the bike that was reborn, it was her dream. When Mai finally rode the GN125 down the village road, the wind brushing her face, she felt free. The dusty roads that once seemed endless on foot now felt like gateways to the world. Villagers stopped to stare, surprised at the transformation. Her parents, once doubtful, now watched with pride in their eyes. The Suzuki GN125 wasn't just a motorbike, it was proof that with passion, patience, and perseverance, even the most broken things could shine again. And for Mai, it became a symbol of her journey, a reminder that no dream is too small, and no effort is ever wasted. And so, Mai's journey with the Suzuki GN125 from the 90s comes to an end here. From a pile of rusty metal, once abandoned and forgotten, it has now been reborn into a shining, powerful machine. This story is not only about a motorcycle, but also a testament to determination. A reminder that with passion and persistence, nothing is impossible. If this story has inspired you even just a little, don't forget to hit the like button. That small click means the world to me, and it gives me the motivation to keep creating more restoration stories and meaningful journeys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of the upcoming videos. In the next episodes, I'll dive deeper into the restoration process, from the actual costs to common issues with the GN125, and even long road trips that Mai will take with her reborn steel companion. I'd also love to hear from you. Which part of the restoration impressed you the most? Would you like me to make a detailed guide on GN125 maintenance, or perhaps share more stories about other classic bikes like the Honda and the Minsk or the Yamaha SR? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and your ideas will help shape the next videos. Finally, if you enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends or anyone who loves classic motorcycles. Who knows, maybe someone out there will also find the inspiration to start their own restoration journey. Thank you so much for staying with me until the very end. My name is Renee. I'll see you again in the next video, where we'll keep telling small but inspiring stories and ride together on endless roads ahead.